The rain pounded against the university library windows like a relentless accusation, mirroring the storm raging inside Remy Thompson's chest. He had just confessed his deepest secret to Professor Elias Grant in the dimly lit office after hours, his voice trembling as he admitted the forbidden attraction that had been building for months. But instead of rejection or anger, Elias pulled him close, their lips meeting in a kiss that shattered every boundary Remy had ever known. And in that moment, the world outside ceased to exist. Remy stumbled out into the downpour, his mind reeling from the intensity of what had just happened. He was a 21-year-old junior at Columbia University, majoring in literature, the son of a conservative Texas family who had sent him to New York with high expectations and strict warnings about the corrupting influences of the city. Elias, at 35, was his mentor, a brilliant English professor known for his sharp intellect and unyielding principles, married to a woman from a prominent academic family. The kiss wasn't just a spark. It was a detonation, one that could destroy careers, reputations, and lives. As Remy walked home through the slick Manhattan streets, his phone buzzed with a text from Elias. "We can't. This ends now." The words hit like a gut punch, but Remy couldn't shake the memory of Elias's hands on his face, the way their worlds had collided in that office. He deleted the message, but the doubt crept in. What if this was the start of something real or just a professor's momentary lapse? By morning, Remy was back in class, sitting in the front row as always, but Elias avoided his gaze, lecturing on forbidden love in Shakespeare's sonnets with an irony that burned. The tension built over the next week. Remy found excuses to linger after lectures, asking questions about assignments that masked his desperation for connection. Elias was professional, distant, but there were cracks. A lingering stare, a hand brushing against Remy's when passing back papers. One evening, as the campus emptied, Elias called Remy into his office again. "This can't happen," Elias said, his voice low and strained. "I'm married, Remy. You're my student. The ethics alone." But Remy pushed back, his words tumbling out about how he'd hidden his sexuality from his family, how Elias was the first person who made him feel seen, not just as a student but as a man. Elias paced the room, his face a mask of conflict. He spoke of his own youth, growing up in a small Midwest town where being gay meant exile or worse. He'd chosen safety, a heterosexual marriage, a stable career, but the facade was cracking. "I've built my life on lies," he admitted, sitting down heavily. "But pursuing this would cost everything." Remy reached out, their fingers intertwining, and for a brief moment, the room filled with possibility. Yet Elias pulled away, insisting they maintain distance. As Remy left, he felt the first sting of betrayal, not from Elias, but from the world that forced such choices. Days turned into a secret dance of avoidance and stolen glances. Remy's roommate, Jake, noticed his distraction. "Dude, you're acting weird. Is it that Prof. Grant?" Remy denied it, but the lie weighed on him. His family called weekly, his father pressuring him about internships, his mother hinting at setting him up with a nice girl from church back home. The pressure mounted, and Remy began questioning his own desires. Was this love, or just rebellion against his upbringing? One night, unable to sleep, Remy wandered to a gay bar in Greenwich Village, seeking anonymity. To his shock, he spotted Elias there, alone at the counter, nursing a drink. Their eyes met, and Elias froze. Remy approached, heart pounding. "What are you doing here?" Elias whispered harshly. "Research," Remy joked weakly, but the truth hung between them. They talked for hours, Elias opening up about his loveless marriage, arranged more for appearances than affection. His wife, Sarah, was kind but distant, aware of his struggles but committed to the image of a perfect academic couple. As the bar closed, they walked out together, the city lights reflecting off puddles. Elias confessed, "I can't stop thinking about you." They shared another kiss under a street lamp, this one desperate and full of promise. But as they parted, Elias warned, "This could ruin us both." Remy nodded, willing to pay the price, unaware of how steep it would be. The relationship deepened in shadows. Clandestine meetings in coffee shops far from campus, late-night texts encoded in literary references. Remy felt alive for the first time, but the secrecy gnawed at him. He skipped family calls, his grades slipping slightly as obsession took hold. Elias, too, showed strain, bags under his eyes, shorter temper in class. Then came the first crack. Sarah found a text on Elias's phone. She confronted him at home, her voice calm but cutting. "Is this why you've been distant? A student." Elias denied it at first, but the lie crumbled. Sarah, hurt but pragmatic, suggested counseling, but Elias admitted the truth. He was gay, had always been, and this affair was the catalyst for facing it. She stormed out, leaving him alone with his regrets. Word spread subtly. A colleague overheard a rumor, and the dean called Elias in for a friendly chat about boundaries. Elias downplayed it, but the noose tightened. Remy, sensing the shift, pressed for more commitment. "Leave her," he urged in a heated whisper during a hidden park meeting. Elias hesitated, torn between love and duty. "It's not that simple. We have a life together, friends, a home." Remy felt the betrayal sting. Was he just a fling? The confrontation escalated when Remy's father, suspecting something from missed calls, flew to New York unannounced. He arrived at Remy's dorm, demanding answers. "You're not yourself, son. Is there a girl? Drugs?" Remy deflected, but the pressure built. That night, he met Elias, pouring out his fears. Elias held him, promising they'd figure it out, but doubt lingered in his eyes. Remy's father, Robert, insisted on staying a few days, turning Remy's life into a pressure cooker. They toured the city, Robert grilling him about his future, emphasizing the family business back in Texas. A construction firm where real men worked with their hands, not buried in books. "This liberal arts nonsense is fine for now, but you need to think about settling down," Robert said over dinner at a steakhouse, his voice booming. Remy nodded mechanically, his mind on Elias, who had gone silent since the visit was announced. Elias was dealing with his own fallout. Sarah had returned and they talked through the night. She wasn't angry, just resigned. "I knew, deep down," she said, tears in her eyes. "But why now? Why him?" Elias explained his internal war, the years of suppression, the fear of losing tenure, the societal judgment. Sarah suggested separation, but Elias balked, citing their shared history and the scandal it would cause. "We can work through this," he pleaded, but it was a half-truth. His heart was with Remy. When Robert left, Remy rushed to Elias's apartment, a brownstone in Brooklyn he shared with Sarah, who was away visiting family. They fell into each other's arms, the pent-up tension exploding in emotional confessions. "I can't live without you," Remy said, his voice breaking. Elias echoed the sentiment, but added, "We have to be careful. The university has policies." They spent the evening talking, planning a future in whispers. Elias divorcing, Remy coming out, but reality intruded with a knock at the door. It was Sarah, back early. She walked in on them sitting too close on the couch, the air thick with intimacy. Her face paled. "This is him? In our home?" Elias stood, stammering apologies, while Remy froze. Sarah didn't scream. She calmly asked Remy to leave, then turned to Elias. "Choose. Now." Elias hesitated, and in that moment, Remy saw the crack. Elias's fear winning over love. Remy left, heartbroken, the door closing like a finality. The next day, Elias called Remy to a neutral spot, a cafe in Midtown. "I told her it's over," Elias lied partially. He'd promised Sarah he'd end it with Remy to save their marriage, but seeing Remy's hopeful eyes, he couldn't follow through. They reconciled, but the lie festered. Remy, sensing something off, pushed for transparency. "Tell me everything." Elias deflected, citing stress, and Remy, desperate, accepted it. Social pressures mounted. Remy's friend group started whispering. Jake confronted him. "You're seeing Grant, aren't you? That's messed up, man. He's married." Remy denied it vehemently, but the seed of doubt grew. He began isolating, skipping social events, his world narrowing to Elias. Elias faced his own demons at work. A student complained about favoritism toward Remy, though unfounded. The dean investigated discreetly, warning Elias about appearances. "We can't have scandals," the dean said. Elias nodded, but inside panic rose. He confided in a trusted colleague, who advised ending it. "Think of your career, your wife." The betrayal came subtly at first. Elias started canceling meetings, citing work. Remy, hurt, showed up at his office unannounced. "What's going on?" he demanded. Elias sighed. "We need space. This is too risky." Remy exploded, accusing him of cowardice. "You're choosing safety over us." Elias didn't deny it, and Remy stormed out, tears streaming. In his dorm, Remy hit rock bottom. He called his sister, Emily, the only family member he trusted. "I'm gay, Em," he confessed through sobs. Emily was supportive but worried. "Dad will disown you, and if it's with a professor." "God, Remy." Her words echoed his fears. Elias, meanwhile, tried to repair his marriage. He took Sarah on a weekend getaway, but his mind wandered to Remy. Sarah noticed. "You're not here," she said. Elias broke down, admitting he couldn't change. "I love him." Sarah, devastated, filed for divorce that week, the papers a cold reality. Word leaked. A campus gossip blog posted anonymously about a professor-student affair. Remy was outed indirectly, friends distancing themselves. He confronted Elias. "Did you tell someone?" Elias swore no, but trust eroded. The high point of tension came at a university event. Remy, fueled by anger, approached Elias publicly. "We need to talk." Elias pulled him aside, hissing, "Not here." But Remy raised his voice. "Why not?" Afraid of the truth. Heads turned, whispers started. Elias's face drained of color, the cost of their love now public. As the scandal simmered, Remy's family got wind. Robert called, furious. "What the hell is this? You're involved with your teacher? A man?" Remy hung up, but the damage was done. Emily texted, "Dad's cutting you off. Come home and explain." Elias was summoned by the dean. "Resign quietly, or we'll investigate." Elias refused, fighting for his job, but the battle lines were drawn. In a moment of desperation, Remy met Elias one last time. "Run away with me," Remy begged. Elias shook his head. "I can't abandon everything." Remy felt the ultimate betrayal, love sacrificed for status. Emily's arrival was like a lifeline thrown into churning waters. She showed up at Remy's dorm unannounced, her suitcase in hand, eyes red from the flight. "I couldn't let Dad handle this alone," she said, hugging him tightly. At 25, Emily was the golden child, engaged to a successful lawyer, living the life their parents approved. But as they sat in a nearby diner, she confessed, "I'm not happy, Remy. My fiancé. He's not who I want." Remy probed, and she admitted her own struggles with identity, hinting at bisexuality she'd suppressed. The revelation bonded them, but Emily urged caution. "This professor thing, it's dangerous. Think about the power imbalance." Remy defended Elias, explaining the depth of their connection, but Emily's words planted seeds of doubt. Was it love or manipulation? Elias, reeling from the dean's ultimatum, reached out to Remy via a burner phone. "We need to meet. Away from here." They rendezvoused in a small town upstate, a bed and breakfast where anonymity reigned. Over the weekend, they poured out their souls. Elias spoke of his childhood trauma, a father who beat him for acting soft, a mother who looked away. "I married Sarah to prove I was normal," he said. Remy shared his own. Family dinners laced with homophobic jokes, the pressure to be the man of the house after his brother's death. They made tentative plans. Elias would divorce, fight the university, and they'd start fresh. But reality intruded when Elias's phone rang. The dean, demanding a decision. Elias promised to resign, but hung up conflicted. Back in the city, the scandal exploded. A local news outlet picked up the story, Columbia professor in alleged affair with male student. Names weren't used, but insiders knew. Remy's dorm was vandalized with slurs. Friends ghosted him. He faced harassment online. Anonymous messages calling him a homewrecker. Elias's world crumbled too. Sarah moved out, taking half their belongings. Colleagues shunned him, students dropped his classes. He confided in Remy, "This is the price. Are you sure?" Remy nodded, but inside, resentment brewed. Why hadn't Elias acted sooner? The family confrontation peaked when Robert and Remy's mother, Linda, flew in. They ambushed Remy at a hotel, Emily mediating. "This is a phase," Robert bellowed. "That man corrupted you." Remy stood his ground. "I'm gay, Dad, and I love him." Linda cried, pleading about grandchildren, societal shame. Robert threatened disinheritance, but Emily intervened. "If you cut him off, you lose me too." The room fell silent, the first fracture in the family facade. Elias faced his own reckoning. His parents, elderly and conservative, called from Ohio. "We raised you better," his father said. Elias hung up, then called Remy. "I'm done hiding." He filed for divorce publicly, citing irreconcilable differences. But betrayal struck from an unexpected angle. Sarah, in pain, leaked details to the press, framing Elias as the predator. The narrative shifted, Elias the abuser, Remy the victim. Remy was furious. How could she? Elias apologized, but the damage was irreversible. The university suspended Elias pending investigation. Remy testified in his defense, but the ethics board was unmoved. Teacher-student relationships are forbidden for a reason, they said. In the midst of chaos, Remy and Elias clung together in secret safe houses, friends' apartments, cheap motels. Their love deepened, but so did the wounds. Remy missed classes, his future in jeopardy. Elias lost weight, his confidence shattered. A turning point came when Emily introduced Remy to an LGBTQ support group. There, he heard stories of similar struggles, outings, losses, but also triumphs. It awakened him to the broader fight against prejudice. Elias, inspired, started writing an op-ed about academic hypocrisy on queer issues. But publication meant full exposure. The climax of this file built when Robert showed up at Elias's hearing, uninvited. "Stay away from my son," he growled. Elias faced him. "I love him, more than you understand." Robert swung a fist, but security intervened. Remy, witnessing it, chose sides definitively, walking out with Elias. Yet, as bonds strengthened, new mists arose. Emily's fiancé proposed a shocking alliance. Emily's fiancé, Mark, was a high-powered attorney with connections in academia. He offered to represent Elias pro bono, but with strings. End it with Remy, or no deal. Emily begged Remy to consider it. Mark can save his career, but only if it's clean. Remy saw red, another betrayal, this time from family. "You're choosing image over me?" he accused. Emily tearfully admitted her own fears. "I'm pregnant, Remy. I need stability." The revelation hit hard. Remy felt isolated, his support crumbling. He confronted Elias. "Would you end us for your job?" Elias swore no, but the temptation lingered. They argued fiercely in a park, voices rising. "I've lost everything for you," Elias shouted. Remy retorted, "And I've gained nothing but pain." The investigation dragged on, witnesses painting Elias as manipulative. A former student claimed similar advances, a lie fueled by jealousy. Remy rallied allies, classmates who knew the truth, but the board was biased, influenced by conservative donors. Socially, Remy faced ostracism. At a pride event, he was heckled as the professor's boy toy. It triggered a breakdown. He questioned if love was worth the hate. Elias proposed a radical step. Move to California, where laws were more progressive. "We can start over." Remy hesitated, tied to his studies, family. But the idea ignited hope. Betrayal deepened when Jake, Remy's roommate, admitted to starting the rumor blog. "I was worried about you, man. Thought it'd scare you straight." Remy punched him, ending their friendship. The cost of trust, Another loss. Family dynamics shifted. Linda called Remy privately. I don't understand, but I love you. It was a crack in the armor, but Robert remained steadfast, cutting financial support. Remy took a part-time job at a bookstore, scraping by. Elias's op-ed was published in a major paper, outing himself fully. It went viral, drawing support from queer academics but backlash from traditionalists. Death threats arrived, forcing them into hiding. In a moment of vulnerability, they attended therapy together, unpacking the power dynamics. The therapist warned, "This started unequally. Build on equality now." It forced reflection. Had Elias exploited Remy's admiration? The high-stakes decision came. Elias accepted a plea, resign with a settlement, no charges. He chose it for Remy's sake. Your education matters more. Remy felt guilty, the sacrifice heavy. Emily's wedding approached, a lavish affair in Texas. She invited Remy, but not Elias. Come alone, she said. Remy refused. It's both or neither. Emily relented, but Robert vowed to boycott if Elias attended. The wedding became ground zero. Remy and Elias arrived hand in hand, heads high. Whispers rippled through guests. Robert confronted them at the reception. This is a disgrace. Elias stood firm. Love isn't disgraceful. A heated debate ensued, family secrets spilling. Robert's own brother, disowned for being gay decades ago. Linda mediated, urging reconciliation. But Robert stormed out, leaving a void. Post-wedding, Remy and Elias returned to New York changed. The experience awakened them to systemic issues, fighting not just for love, but against bigotry. Yet, a final betrayal loomed. Mark, jealous of Emily's support for Remy, leaked more dirt to sabotage Elias's new job prospects. As wounds healed slowly, the story intensified toward ultimate choices. With Elias unemployed, they moved to a tiny apartment in Queens, scraping by on Remy's job and savings. The downgrade was humiliating for Elias, once a tenured professor, now applying for adjunct positions. This is my fault, Remy said often. Elias reassured him. No, it's ours, for daring to love. Social awakening grew. They volunteered at an LGBTQ center counseling youth. Remy saw mirrors of his past, teens hiding from families. It fueled his resolve, but also highlighted the moral gray. Was their relationship a bad example? Family ties strained further. Emily gave birth to a girl, naming her after Remy's late brother. She visited New York, baby in tow. Dad's softening, she said, but Robert sent a check with a note. For the kid, not you. Remy tore it up, pride over need. Betrayal from Mark escalated. He anonymously tipped off Elias's potential employers about the scandal, blackballing him. Elias discovered it through a friend. Your sister's husband? He asked Remy incredulously. Remy confronted Emily. Control him. She admitted Mark's insecurity, promising to handle it, but trust fractured. The internal conflicts peaked. Remy dreamed of his father's disapproval, waking in sweats. Elias battled depression, questioning if he'd ruined Remy's life. Maybe we should separate, Elias suggested one night. Remy refused. That's giving up. A breakthrough came via activism. They joined a protest against anti-LGBTQ legislation, speaking publicly. Media attention followed, positive stories reframing them as victims of prejudice. Offers poured in, Elias for a book deal, Remy for scholarships. But success bred envy. An ex-colleague sued Elias for defamation from the op-ed. The legal battle drained resources, forcing hard choices, sell possessions, borrow from friends. Moral dilemmas arose. Remy was offered a prestigious internship, but it required relocating without Elias. Go, Elias urged. Remy declined. We're in this together. The ultimate confrontation. Robert appeared at their door, unannounced. I lost my brother to hate. Don't want to lose my son. Tears flowed as he admitted faults. Reconciliation began tentatively, with apologies and promises. Yet not all healed. Sarah remarried, sending Elias a bitter letter. "You destroyed us." Elias responded with remorse, but closure eluded. As they rebuilt, Remy graduated, Elias teaching online. Love endured, but scarred. The awakening. They realized love's cost was worth it, but questioned society's role in forcing such payments. Stability returned gradually. Remy landed a publishing job. Elias's book on queer academia became a bestseller. They bought a house in upstate New York, a sanctuary from city judgments. But scars lingered, therapy ongoing, trust rebuilt brick by brick. Family integrated slowly. Robert visited, awkward but trying. "I don't get it, but you're happy," he conceded over barbecue. Linda baked pies, Emily's daughter calling Remy uncle. Yet, undercurrents of prejudice surfaced, subtle comments, avoided topics. Socially, they became advocates, speaking at conferences. Remy wrote articles on student rights, Elias on ethical love. But controversy followed. Critics accused them of glamorizing taboo relationships. A final twist. Jake reached out, apologizing. Remy forgave, but boundaries remained. Years passed, their bond unbreakable. But reflection brought debates. Was the pain necessary? Could choices have been different? In the end, they sat on their porch watching sunset. "Worth it?" Remy asked. Elias smiled. "Every scar." Was their love a triumph over adversity, or a selfish pursuit that harmed too many?